So these are very, very important points. And they're being made over and over again, even in just these last few verses. This is what Jad Bharat told Maharaj Rahugana in many different ways, first as an allegory and then as straight out instruction. And now Sukadeva Goswami is telling Maharaj Parikshit directly how this works. And he's already told him in previous verses a similar scenario of the problem of becoming attached to family life. And here, it's interesting, is attracted by illusion personified. So there's illusion, and then illusion personified, which is in the form of the opposite sex, is illusion personified, and becomes eager to be embraced. So what is he being embraced by? He's eager to be embraced by illusion. And this is illusion personified. And that embrace is so overpowering, all the senses become engaged in the illusion. All the senses become engaged in the illusion. And one forgets one's knowledge of the goal of life. If he even had that knowledge to begin with, it's now lost. But what has he done? He's embraced illusion, invested all his energy, his mental, physical, sensual, emotional, all his energy is now, he's desiring to be embraced by the illusion. So where will the transcendental realization find room? It won't find any room because it's already engaged. The desire to be embraced by illusion has taken him under the control of the illusion personified. And then he becomes overly attached and tries to provide, and then tries to serve. So you have to work hard now to get some apartment or some house again. And he's captivated, talking and glancing, and the activities of the wife and children, he's totally absorbed, and forgets Krishna. He's become he's wanting to be embraced by this illusion, and then he throws himself into the dense darkness of material existence. Prabhupada's commentary. When the conditioned soul is embraced by his beloved wife, he forgets everything about Krishna consciousness. The more he becomes attached to his wife, the more he becomes implicated in family life. One Bengali poet, Bankim Chandra, says that to the eyes of the lover, the beloved is always very beautiful, even though ugly. This attraction is called Devamaya. The attraction between man and woman is the cause of bondage for both. Actually, both belong to the power of Prakriti, the superior energy of the Lord. But both are actually Prakriti, female. However, because both want to enjoy one another, they are sometimes described as Purusha, or male. Actually, neither is Purusha, but both can be superficially described as Purusha. As soon as man and woman are united, they become attached to home, hearth, land, friendship, money. In this way, they're both entrapped in material existence. The word Bhujalata Upadgudha, meaning being embraced by beautiful arms which are compared to creepers, describes the way the conditioned soul is bound within this material world. The products of sex life, sons and daughters, certainly follow. This is the way of material existence. Hey. So, a little discussion here about Devi Maya in the beginning of the verse. So, what is it? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, when that attraction the desire for sensual engagement is there, then the object of that desire becomes very beautiful to the eyes of the one of desiring like that. But actually they could be like really ugly. They might not have very nice features at all. Not only physical features, but their character may be a little ugly too. They could be like kind of mean or inconsiderate, whatever. They might actually be quite an unattractive, in a lot of different ways, person, due to how they're situated in the modes of nature. They might be physically unattractive. But because of that desire to enjoy in that type of a relationship, they become very beautiful and attractive. So this is the little trick of Maya. It's called Deva Maya. It's a particular type of attraction. You become blinded by one's own lust. You're blinded by lust. First of all, it's not enjoyable. I mean, that's really Maya. Thinking something's enjoyable that isn't enjoyable. That's really Maya. But in order to get to that point, they have to actually think that the object is attractive, and it's not. So it's all illusion. It's all Maya. The attraction itself is Maya, and then the object of the attraction is also a Maya. It's all Maya, illusion. But it's the cause of bondage for both. Both become bound like that. It says, Prabhupada explains that actually in that type of relationship, say between a man and a woman, we say, that they belong to the power prakriti. They're both superior energy of the Lord, meant to serve the Lord. And in that sense, they can be considered female in relationship to the Lord, who is Purusha, the male. They're both meant to serve. They're both subservient to Krishna. So in that sense, they're both considered female, because they're servants. They're not the master, they're the servant. So it's like female position. However, they want to enjoy each other. Forget Krishna. They look to each other to try to enjoy. So now they're both like Purusha. They're both trying to be the enjoyer, the master and the controller, because they both want to enjoy. So now they're both like male. But actually they're not male. Krishna is the only male, Supreme Lord. And so it's very bewildering. The situation is very bewildering. That when the living entity, the jiva, the spirit soul, desires to enjoy the material energy, they become like a Purusha. They're not a Purusha, they're not a male, they're not an enjoyer, but they try to assume that position. So they try to become Purusha, which is Krishna, the enjoyer, the controller, the master. So they're trying to become like Krishna, they're trying to become Purusha. And in a relationship with each other, they're both trying to be Purusha. So the conditioned soul wants to be embraced by this kind of illusion, wants to try to be the Purusha, and becomes very attracted to the object of their sense enjoyment, the personification of illusion in the form of their partner for sex. Text 29. The personal weapon used by Lord Krishna, the disc, is called Hari Chakra, the disc of Hari. This chakra is the wheel of time. It expands from the beginning of the atoms up to the time of Brahma's death. It controls all activities. It is always revolving and spending the lives of the living entities, from Lord Brahma down to an insignificant blade of grass. Thus, one changes from infancy to childhood to youth, maturity, and thus one approaches the end of life. It is impossible to check this wheel of time. This wheel is very exacting because it's the personal weapon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the conditioned soul, fearing the approach of death, wants to worship someone who can save him from imminent danger. But he does not care for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose weapon is the indefatigable time factor. The conditioned soul instead takes shelter of a man-made god described in unauthorized scriptures. Such gods are like buzzards, vultures, herons, and crows. Vedic scriptures do not refer to them. Imminent death is like the attack of a lion, and neither vultures, buzzards, crows, nor herons can save one from such an attack. One who takes shelter of unauthorized, man-made gods cannot be saved from the clutches of death. Oh, that's interesting about the chakra. The chakra is the wheel of time. That's what the chakra is. It's the wheel of time. And Sukadeva explains that it expands from the beginning of the atoms up to the time of Brahma's death. And it controls all activities. It's always revolving and spending the lives of the living entities. It's the personal weapon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Lord is controlling time. Like Durvasa Muni, when he offended Maharaj Ambarish, immediately the chakra began to follow him, which meant his time was up. The wheel of time was taking his life away. We have to say prematurely. In other words, he brought that wheel of time down on himself by his offenses to the pure devotee of the Lord. He shortened his lifespan. This is a personal weapon of the Lord. He can shorten anyone's lifespan. In other words, to kill a demon, what it appears here, or to kill someone, the Lord doesn't have to personally run him through with a sword or cut his head off or whatever. He can bring the chakra down on him. He can shorten his lifespan so that he could die in a couple seconds. He could bring that chakra right down on him, that wheel of time. It's his personal weapon. It's always revolving, and according to the material nature, it's revolving in a certain way. But the Lord can move it. He can bring it down on someone, shorten their lifespan. Or they can, actually in that pastime, Durvasa Muni and Ambarish, the Lord didn't bring the chakra down on him. At least I don't remember reading that. We'll have to read that again later on. But because he committed the offense, the chakra was set in motion to shorten his lifespan. And Durvasa, by the strength of his mystic powers, was able to actually enter Vaikuntha and make an appeal at the foot of Lord Vishnu himself to please call the chakra off. And Lord Vishnu said, I can't. You've brought this down on yourself. The only way to get the chakra to back off is to take shelter of the pure devotee that you offended. You have to seek his blessing, seek his mercy, seek his shelter. You have to take shelter of him. Surrender yourself at the lotus feet of this pure devotee. And then the wheel of time will back away. But there are instances where the Lord has employed the chakra. I believe he did that with Shishupal. Shishupal stood up in the assembly and started to blaspheme Lord Krishna. Anyway, there are times when the Lord has used he cut off Banasura's 1,000 arms with the chakra, wheel of time. Anyway, it's very interesting. We want to know about Krishna. We want to know so much about Krishna. We want to know everything about Krishna. That's natural. If you're developing love for someone, you want to know about them. You want to know everything about them. Not so that you can reject them or find fault with them, but because you want to know them. And you find everything that they do wonderful and amazing. It brings delight to understand more about Krishna. It increases the devotional mood. Wow, Krishna did this, oh, Krishna did that. Oh, Krishna's chakra is like this, oh. So we want to know, that's natural. And if Krishna is pleased by our devotion, then he'll reveal. And we come just a little bit closer to full knowledge of our Lord, which we understand is never completely possible, but we're always eager. We want more understanding. We want to know Krishna more so that we can love Krishna more. So this is says the personal weapon. And I may have to do this verse again because we've run out of time here for today. Hare Krishna.